What is up guys, Kardak here, and today I'm here with another Digimon deck profile. This round we'll be going over the Jesmon deck, which has recently been unrestricted. So I'm very excited to play this deck now, and yeah, Jesmon has always been one of my favorite decks, so I'm really happy that we can use it at full power. But I think still, compared to some of the meta decks right now, it is still lacking a lot of things that they have that Jesmon doesn't have. We'll talk about that later, but without further ado, let's get right into the deck profile. So for the Digitamons, we're running 4 of the Digimon from BT-8. So, you know, you're going to attack with Jesmon obviously, so getting ways to draw one is going to be pretty good. And I think having the 6,000 power to draw one is pretty easy to fulfill. So you're most likely going to get that draw whenever you attack with Jesmon. So for the level 6s, we're running 4 of the Jesmon. Obviously, we did not have this Jesmon with the Savior Hakmon before, so being able to have this is very good for the deck just because you can have that inherent security check and unspend, so you're going to be at least taking out 4 security if you're able to attack twice. So this was something that the deck was lacking before. So I think this definitely that makes deck a lot better with Saber Hakmon at 4. So next we're running 2 of the Jesmon X Antibody. So this is where the deck can kind of vary. So the ratios for level 6, I'm running 6 level 6s. And there are people that would like to run 3 of the Jesmon and then 3 of either a mix of the antibodies or the Gankumon X. And yeah, I think you can. It really depends on how you want to play the deck. Personally, I'm going hyper aggressive, so as soon as I can get my Jesmon out on the board, I want to be able to kill my opponent. So that's why I'm maxing out on the Jesmons. But if you're a little more conservative and you want to have, you know, a little bit more protection, playing the Gankumon X is definitely an option. Also, if you want to play, you can also play the Jesmon GX. But personally, I do not. I'm not running that just because I think this is the fastest way to kill your opponent, and so I'm going all out. But it's all up to you guys. If you want to play the Gankumon X antibodies, that is perfectly fine. So for those of you who don't know, basically Jesmon, what it does is whenever you attack, you can play a Sistermon from your hand. So this is from hand only, so you make sure you have a Sistermon before you attack with this because you won't be able to get the ability off afterward. Third ability is whenever a Digimon is played by an ability, you'll be able to get security check +1. So the card kind of works with itself. So for Jesmon X Anybody's ability, it's got piercing, and then on evolution, you can play a Sistermon from your hand or trash. And then if this card has Jesmon in its source, or if you have a Sistermon on the board, you lose it to it. All your Digimon can attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. And you get +2k. All your Digimon has plus 2k, so it's pretty good as a buffer, just to make your Sistermon a little bit more tanky. It itself will be pretty tanky itself because you'll be able to get the 3k from Jesmon, which is already going to be 15k. So yeah, those are the level 6s we're running. For the level 7s, we're running 2 Omnimons. You can run one of these as Jesmon GX if you want, but I think 2 Omnimons is actually the better option if you want to go for a faster kill. And running 2 just to have a higher chance to have it. Having 1 sometimes is just, you don't see it enough, so running 2 of them. And this deck, this is searchable with the Roll Knight support, so running 2 of those. Next for the level 5s, we're running 4 of the Saber Hakmon. It is unrestricted now, so we can run 4. On evolution, you can play a Sistermon without paying its cost. And then the other ability is, the inherent ability is, whenever this card attacks, once per turn, if you have a Sistermon on the board, you can make this card active again. Next, we're running 2 of the ST12 Saber Hakmon. This is the backup Hakmon. It's definitely not as good as the Saber Hak, because instead of getting another swing with a Jesmon, you're going to be able to play another Sistermon instead, which is not bad, but I'd rather have 2 swings. But setting up for another Sistermon also potentially gives you a chance to go into Chimeramon, which is pretty good. So we are running 2 of the Saber Hakumons. Speaking of Chimeramons, we're running 2 Chimeramons. So Chimeramon is here to help go for extra hits. So in case you don't have the Omnium on hand, the other finisher is Chimeramon. And Chimeramon can also set you up to go into another Jesmon. So Chimeramon's pretty good. But basically you're just going to use your Sistermons to fuse into the Chimeramon to get an extra attack, which is pretty good. Next, for the level 4s, we're running 4 of the Bao Hakumon from BT-15. So previously we didn't have max power Jesmon. We couldn't use the Jesmon line from BT-13 with the original Saber Hakumon. So now that we can use it, you can kind of combo with the Hakumon, just because, for example, if we have the BT-13 Hakumon and then the Saber Hakumon, if you Digivolve into the Saber Hakumon, you'll be able to play a Sistermon with this ability, and just by doing that, you can get 2 memory back. So that you're pretty much Digivolving into the Saber Hakumon for 1 memory, which is pretty good. We'll go more into detail later, but let's wrap up the level 4s first. So next, we're also running 2 of the Bao Hakumon from BT-6. Running this, you can run the other Bao Hakumon instead, but I like a little bit of removal options just to get rid of smaller Digimon in the game right now. There are people running Swarm decks, so this kind of deals with that. So yeah, running 2 of those, and we're also running 4 of the Greymon. So this is entirely optional. You can choose not to run these instead and just run a full Bao Hakumon line. But the Jesmons are here, sorry, the Greymons are here just to guarantee your kill. If you have the combo, you can do 6 security checks. So you're going to do 2 swings with the Jesmon, so that's 3 on the first swing, and then you get 2 in the second swing, and then you can either go into Chimeramon for game, or you can go into Omnimon for game, assuming they didn't heal. Even if they healed and they have 6 security, you can still kill them like that. So the Greymons are still very, very good in my opinion. Downside for this is it's not searchable, so if you want a little bit more consistency, you can up these out for more Hakumons. But I think even if you do run the other Bao Hakumon at 4, I think running 2 Greymons is also nice, but entirely up to you guys. As you can see, that this build that I have right now is pretty aggro, so it's not a lot of people will not everyone will choose to play the same way as I do. But if I'm playing a Jesmon, I might as well play like this, just because it's a brick or go home, or brick, go all out, or brick trying. Next, for the level 3s, we're running 4 of the Hakumon from BT-6. So this is your searcher. This helps you unbrick. It does slow you down a bit if you can't get the combos, but looking at top 5 and grabbing 2 Sistermon or Jesmon and Hakumon is pretty good. It searches for the majority of the deck, so I think this is pretty good for unbricking and just getting your pieces out. So I quite like it. And if your opponent doesn't get rid of it, you can use this to smash attack into security. If it dies, it's fine. That will set your opponent up to have 4 security, so you can go for game when you go into the Jesmon. So I think that's fine as well. Next, we are running 4 of the Hakumon from BT-13. Running 4 of these. This is the main Hakumon you want to go into in your raising area, just because you do want to have the Inherit to gain memory, because it's pretty important in this build to not pass turn. So having this is pretty important. Next, we're running 3 of the Hakumon from BT-7. This is here to help you unbrick as well. If you're missing Sistermons, this is the secondary option, just to help increase your chances of getting those Sistermons. But a lot of times you might whiff just because you know, you never get what you want. But yeah, if you are missing Sistermons and you don't think you'll need to pass turn, like your setup is pretty good, you can go into this instead of the memory gaining Hakumon, but I think this is secondary to that. Next, let's go over the Sistermons. First, we're running 2 of the ST12 Sistermons. So this one helps you discard 1 and then draw 2, just to filter your deck and just get some more useful cards. And then on both players' turn, whenever a Hakumon card or a Royal Knight is on the board, this card has delay red and black. So you can use this to bait out some destruction options, which is pretty good. Next, you're also running 1 of the Sistermon Blanc from BT-6. This one is not as useful anymore. You just want this for your draw and blocker. And that's all she does. And she's pretty easy to get rid of. But in case you need to get the draw and you don't have anything you want to discard, I think this is a good option. Like sometimes you have really important pieces in your hand that you can't get rid of, then she will be your backup. Next, we're running 1 Sistermon Noir from ST12. This one on play lets you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and then you can grab a Hakumon or a Royal Knight card to your hand, which is pretty good, and the rest gets trashed. And then on both players' turn, when you have a Hakumon card, all your Hakumon card and Royal Knights get reboot, which is cool. Just prevents your opponent from attacking into them. Next, for the other Sistermon Noirs, we're running 3 of the BT-6 one. We're running 3 of these because we want to get the memory. So getting memory is pretty important to not pass turn, and so this is one of the ways to do it. And speaking of which, we're also running 2 of the Sistermon Ciel. So running Sistermon Ciel, for the same reason we're running Sistermon Noir, it helps you not pass turn. But the good thing about Ciel is, if you slap her down, you can Digivolve into the Jesmon X Anybody, which lets you play another Sistermon from your trash or hand. So if you have the X Anybody in your hand, you can, when you swing with your Jesmon, slap down Ciel, Digivolve into the X Anybody, and then with X Anybody you can play another Noir, which lets you get 2 memory with these, and then just can potentially go into a Chimeramon, which is pretty good. If you only have the Noir in hand, you only get 1 memory, and you won't get to go into the X Anybody, which is not as cool, but I think this is it's still okay. But yeah, CL, I think I like it at 2, just so I can see it more often. But for you guys who don't know what she does, is on play you can Digivolve one of your Royal Knights, one of your cards into a Royal Knight, and then whenever a Hakumon or Royal Knight Digivolves, you can get 1 memory. So pretty good. This also works with your Saber Hakumon. So if you slap this down with Saber Hakumon's ability, you can Digivolve into Jesmon as well. So really up to you. That stops you from passing turn. I think that would be nice as well. And last but not least, we are running 4 of the Disciple card from the Start Deck 12. So this one lets you look at the top 3 cards of your deck and then grab a Hakumon, Jesmon, or Royal Knight to your hand, and then you put the rest into the trash, and then this card moves in the battle area. So this card can be flexible. You can use the training cards if you want, or you can use red memory boost if you want. But personally, I like this one at 4 because it searches for everything in the deck except for the Greymons and the Chimeramons. So you can grab your Sistermons, which are white, and you can grab the Omnimon, which is white. Though red memory boost and the training cannot grab those, so you know, yeah, it is a double-edged sword, and you do get 1 less memory for it because you only reduce the cost by 1. But I think it's still pretty good. So that is my build. I think this deck is still not as consistent as some of the other OTKs and decks in the game right now. Mainly the Garurumon deck. But I think if this deck you get the right pieces, and if you get the right pieces, I think it does have a lot of potential just to go off and just kill your opponent one turn. There's not much else. There's not much they can do about it. If you're playing against a Bellstar Mountain deck or a Leviathan deck, this is going to be a pretty bad matchup. So if you are playing in a tournament setting and you are in an area where there's a lot of people playing those kinds of decks, you might want to play the Gankumon X Antibody and Jesmon GX. I think you can just like swap, depending on ratio, you can just swap these two out for a Gankumon GX, and then one of these, or Gankumon X Antibody, sorry, and then one of these for a Jesmon GX if you want, and the rest of that can pretty much stay the same. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this deck, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Give this deck a try. I think it's still really, really fun at full power, and it's so satisfying when you can get the combo off. It feels very good. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this deck, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below, and make sure to use the affiliate links down below if you guys want to support the channel. But this is Card Haku, and I will see you guys next time.